This next skill involves triads, but it's unique in that it only involves moving one note. And so I will show you what I mean by this, but it has a really effective sound as well, especially for the modern worship stuff. So what we do for this is we just look at and focus on the number one triad, okay? So you remember there's three major triads. There's 1, 4, and 5. We're only going to look at the number one triad. And we're going to only move one note around. I'll show you. Here we go. So we're in the key of G again, and the one triad was right here. Remember that D-ish looking shape is the one triad. Okay, so when you analyze this into numbers in the key of G, what happens is this note right here is the 1. That's a G note. This note here is the 5. So in the key of G, a 5 is a D. That's a D note. And then this note here is the 3. We're not talking chords here. We're just talking about the individual interval in the key of G. So 3 in the key of G is a B, that note. Okay? So with this skill where you move only one note, the only note you're going to move is the 3. Move the 3 note. Okay, so let me show you. Just like the others before it, whenever you encounter chord number 1 or 6, you're going to play this one triad. Whenever you encounter chords 4 or 2, what you're going to do is you're going to move this note up 1 fret to here while keeping these two the same. So let me go and erase this now. So it looks like that. Okay, so you're going to just change this note from down here to up here whenever you encounter a 4 or 2 chord. And then whenever you encounter a 5 or a 3 chord, let me go back here. Remember the original note for the 1 chord was here? For the 5 or 3 chord, you're going to move that down 2 frets down here. And it's going to have this really cool suspended modern sound. Okay, so now these 2 notes are stationary. Just this 3rd moves up here or moves down here depending on what chord. Okay, now I do want to tell you that there's 3 major triad shapes when you are on these high 3 strings. Okay, if you go to the next series, which would be this B, G, and D strings, there's 3 other major triad shapes. And then if you move down to the next, which is G, D, and A, the 3 major shapes will change as well. Now those are the same as the ones on the lowest E, A, and D string. But basically there are 9 total major triad shapes on the guitar. And we only looked at 3 of them, and we only looked in one position just to keep things simple. But as you get this, you'll start exploring, and you'll find that there's triads everywhere. And everything that we talked about, you remember with the original triads, or the triads with an open string, or triads with where you're only moving one note, will apply with all 9 of those triads, which is really, really cool and gives you a ton of things to explore as you get more advanced. But for now, we just looked at one of those. But all 3 of these techniques with triads will work every time if you follow this format.